Welcome back to Jaded Hero Worship. This week, we're making a quick video about one of the most iconic superheroes in the Marvel Comics pantheon, Silver Surfer. Very exciting news this week, as Marvel has announced casting for this longtime fan-favorite character. So, who is the Silver Surfer? Well, in the comics, Silver Surfer first appeared in Fantastic Four number 48, first published in 1966. He was created in their continuing effort to create a new, impactful villain for the monthly title The Fantastic Four. The villain they created was the planet-consuming Galactus. Almost a universal force of nature, as described by Lee, Galactus is not inherently evil, but is immensely powerful, old, and in constant need of nourishment to continue his life. Galactus, admittedly by Lee, is a somewhat silly idea made much more dynamic by the always impressive Jack Kirby's illustrations. These illustrations turned a character that could have easily been one note or ridiculous into a fresh and iconic villain with a twist on the goals and pursuits of villains in these types of stories. Usually villains in comics, especially those of the time, act out of monetary gain, world domination, or a vendetta against the hero. Galactus has none of these motivations. His motivations are simply, he is hungry, and we are so insignificant to him that our planet functions as his meal. Originally, Silver Surfer did not have a part in this story and was not created for it, but Kirby had illustrated him in one of the panels, explaining to Lee that he felt a character as huge and powerful as Galactus would have a herald that would go before him to seek out planets to be consumed, as well as to announce his coming to those planets. For modern MCU fans, this is similar to the role Ebony Maw performed in Infinity War, announcing and heralding Thanos. Kirby famously gave his herald character a surfboard because he had noticed the surfer culture building up at the time in magazines, and he just didn't want to draw any more spaceships. Lee, the writer on the book, and if anybody doesn't know who Stan Lee is, I don't know what you're doing clicking on my video, fell in love with the somewhat noble-appearing surfer and thus named him the Silver Surfer. The character that originally had no role in the story as conceived by Lee suddenly became a key part of the Galactus trilogy, as it was called. It is the Surfer's interference and rejection of Galactus' will that makes the difference in helping the Fantastic Four in stopping the planet-consuming monster and saving Earth. In retribution for the Silver Surfer's denial of his will, Galactus strips the Surfer of the ability to travel the stars, restricting the hero to the Earth he has chosen to defend. After a few more appearances in the main Fantastic Four series, Silver Surfer was given his own starring role in 1968 in the solo Silver Surfer series. Lee would write all 18 issues of the series with illustrations for the first 17 done by artist John Buscema, and the final issue illustrated by Kirby. The series is remarkable for the time due to its length. The first 7 issues were double-sized, giant issues coming in at around 72 pages, twice that of the standard 34-page length. Lee used the character to explore his most philosophical views on society and human treatment of our own planet. Envisioned by Kirby as a very biblically influenced character, the Silver Surfer was in many ways a fallen angel, cast down from the heavens to be among the mortals he loved. The origin of the Surfer was finally explained by Lee in that first 1968 issue. It established that the Surfer was originally Norrin Radd, from the planet Zenn-La. Zenn-La was a peaceful planet that after 1,000,000 years of warfare had gone out into the stars, becoming a highly advanced, learned race, and then had lost all interest in exploring beyond their planet and had become an insular society. Norrin is an explorer at heart, and is desperate for new knowledge and new experiences. He feels stifled on his homeworld and its passivity. The people of Zenn-La felt that all knowledge needed had already been gained through their travels, and they had also jettisoned all desire for material things through their use of technology. Norrin chafes under this society. He wants adventure and exploration. He wants to want things, and feels that life is meaningless if no one has to strive for anything. His partner, Shalla-Bal, pushes back on this idea, trying to convince him that their world is already perfect. It was at this moment that Galactus arrived. Zenn-La tries to fight back, but the weapon they deploy has no effect on Galactus and instead devastates their own world. In an effort to stop his world from being destroyed, Norrin of course first ensures that Shalla-Bal is safe, then he quickly commandeers a ship and flies into the cosmic storm surrounding the vessel approaching their world. Norrin flies into the massive threatening ship and is confronted by the godlike Galactus. Galactus, although impressed by the courage Norrin has displayed, only humors him as Norrin pleads for his planet's survival. Once understanding the problem, the hunger driving Galactus, and the base need to consume a world, Norrin argues that there are other worlds with non-sentient life that Galactus could consume instead. Galactus counters this by pointing out that he has expended too much energy getting to Zen-La, and without a herald to seek out new worlds for him, he might die in the search. Seeing the devil's bargain in front of him for what it is, Norrin offers himself as a sacrifice to become Galactus' new herald, and to aid him in seeking out consumable worlds, if Galactus will spare his own. Galactus agrees, and using his ultimate cosmic power, transforms Norrin into the Silver Surfer, fundamentally changing him and giving him his board as a way to travel the cosmos. Surfer goes to say goodbye to Shalla-Bal, and in the admittedly melodramatic way of the time, they have their goodbye. Thus, Surfer leaves his home and goes out into the stars. As this channel is all about discussing heroes in media, it's worth pointing out, as many others have before, the Christian allegory at play with the Surfer. He has sacrificed his life and freedom to save his entire homeworld. He makes a second sacrifice when he gives up his power and freedom to explore the spaceways to save Earth. Inherent in Surfer's story is a conflicted man, one who deeply values all life but prefers his life of solitude, observing and exploring. He falls into classic questing archetypes. In deeper exploration of the character, his bargain with Galactus potentially was not the extreme sacrifice it is sometimes portrayed as, and there was always a part of him that went gladly into that role, making his sacrifice on Earth doubly impactful. As he's sometimes called, the Sentinel of the Spaceways was a personal favorite of Stan Lee's to write. A character with a rich, expansive history who has made a huge mark on pop culture. He has been heavily referenced in movies such as Breathless starring Richard Gere, where the main character is obsessed with his solitary exploration of the universe, or even in action films such as The Crimson Tide, where Denzel Washington's character has to stop a fight between two crewmen who are so passionate about Surfer that they are fighting over who illustrated him best. The character has been in and out of print for almost 60 years, and in his heyday had a huge following in the counterculture movement of the late 60s and early 70s due to Lee's thoughtful prose. In a film trilogy, Marvel could really play with some of these themes and explore this rich character. I mean, it's so ripe for exploration. Silver Surfer could be introduced at the end of a first Fantastic Four film in the mid-credits scene. Oh man, think about all of the possibilities. A first Fantastic Four film could have them battling the Mole Man or another early villain. Doctor Doom is mentioned and hinted at throughout. In a mid-credits scene, we finally see Doom in his castle in Latveria, being set up as the antagonist for the trilogy. He is talking to a henchman about something he has found moving towards Earth. In his satellite feed is a blurred streak coming into the solar system. The camera moves in, and we are now seeing the thing in the image, and it's the Silver Surfer. The next two films could follow roughly the Galactus trilogy, although now Doom is involved. The second film could start with Norrin Radd on his homeworld, making the ultimate decision to climb into that solitary ship and fly up to the cloud of impending death hovering about his ravaged planet. We could see him right up to when he flies into that cloud, scared but determined, willing to push through and find out what is inside of the coming disaster. A later film focusing on the Silver Surfer could explore how far he fell in his deal with the devil in Galactus. Maybe he started out with the best of intentions, with the goal of only offering up uninhabited planets. But as time wore on, he became more dispassionate and more willing to compromise. Maybe as he drifted and explored through the infinite blackness of space, as he stared out into the abyss, the Surfer went down his own path to hell paved with good intentions. And it was only once he arrived on Earth and was presented with a world so like his original homeworld that he realized he had gone too far. And his stand here now on our planet was what would finally start him back on that journey from that place. You could present a character who was on his own path of redemption. Boy, so many storytelling opportunities with this amazing character. And we've only scratched the surface. I mean, just imagine who Disney Marvel could cast. I can't wait to see it. I'm about to check, but perhaps it's one of the Skarsgårds. I mean, I think Alexander could really bring the cold alien perfection to this character. Or maybe you pull out, I don't know, like Taylor Kitsch, an actor who never really got his moment to shine, but has some real underappreciated ability to bring gravity to a role. Or maybe you actually branch out. You go with an actor of color or a different ethnicity. Someone like Henry Golding, who's really coming up, who might have that ability to really portray something new. An actor of Asian descent or Latino or African. There's so many choices, so many ways you can make this character iconic and really explore how a different voice could present a new hero to the MCU. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to open up the article and see who Marvel has chosen for this incredibly rich character, one of the main icons of their universe, who so many people have been wanting for... Yeah. Alright. Yeah, that sounds about right for modern Disney. See, this is why this channel is called Jaded Hero Worship. Alright, never mind about everything else I said. Just ignore all of it about Norrin Radd. They're going to make his girlfriend Silver Surfer because that happened once in an alternate Earth. Because of course they are. Alright. Well, so much for the excitement, folks. Back to boredly watching Marvel implode. Go back to your homes. Nothing to see here. But, hey, if you like this, if you like seeing the illustrations, the pretty artwork, do any of the things you feel like doing. Until next time, this was Jaded Hero Worship, saying maximum effort. Freaking Disney, man.